Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and highly relevant topic: the future of missile policy for Ukraine, especially, considering a potential shift in U.S. leadership.
Exactly.
Our analysis is based on a recent article. It's titled Trump Missiles Ukraine's Defensive Future. So, our mission today is to genuinely explore what that phrase, Trump missiles, could actually mean for Ukraine's strategic capabilities and, well, ultimately, its defense.
hmm
Now,
mm
you've probably heard about the existing limitations, right, on how Ukraine uses the sophisticated weapons they've received.
Yeah, particularly the longer range stuff.
Like the 8ACMS, the ones that get debated so much, they've been given powerful systems, sure, but often with these pretty critical strings attached,
Right, strings that restrict their use.
especially when it comes to hitting targets, across the border inside Russia.
Yeah. And that's what's truly remarkable here and what the article really gets into. It's the potential for a dramatic shift in how these tools could be used. The source looks into the possibility that a future U.S. administration, maybe a Trump administration, might fundamentally alter those previous restrictions.
So changing the rules of engagement, basically.
Precisely. Specifically concerning Ukraine's ability to strike targets within Russia using systems the U.S. supplied. It's a really hotly debated point. Could reshape the conflict in ways we haven't seen yet.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting then. Considering Ukraine's current limitations, how might their whole defensive strategy transform if these restrictions were actually lifted? What are the key implications the article points to, the immediate shifts?
Well, the source examines how that kind of change could dramatically impact Ukraine's defensive strategy. I mean, imagine the strategic shift. Right now, Ukraine is often reactive, defending against incoming attacks.
Right.
But if these restrictions lift, they could potentially preemptively cripple Russian logistics.
How so? Like hitting supply lines.
Think targeting a critical railhead, maybe in Belgorod, disrupting entire supply chains before they even reach the front lines, or taking out a command center miles behind the border. This isn't just about defense anymore. It's about fundamentally altering Russia's operational calculus,
Yeah.
denying them those sanctuaries they've relied on. Wow, okay. That's a powerful shift. It really does sound like it could move Ukraine from just holding the line to being much more proactive. But the article must also get into the risks, right? The flip side, the escalation worries.
Absolutely, it has to.
How does it balance that potential advantage with those, broader geopolitical responses?
It definitely emphasizes that. While lifting restrictions offer significant strategic advantages for Ukraine, it also raises substantial questions about escalation. Big ones. It explores how Russia might react, perhaps viewing such strikes, as a direct provocation by the West, essentially.
Leading to retaliation. Potentially. Actions beyond the current scope of the conflict. It's laid out in the article as a scenario under intense discussion, remember, not a certainty. There are various debated consequences that could really test perceived red lines for everyone involved. The article itself doesn't pick a side, it just lays out these complex, high-stakes possibilities.
Right, just reporting on the debate.
Exactly.
So for you listening, trying to track this conflict, trying to understand its evolving dynamics, what does grasping these potential shifts in missile policy truly mean? Why should you care about this specific debate?
Well, understanding these potential shifts is just critical, I think, for grasping the future trajectory of the war and
Yeah.
Ukraine's longer-term security outlook, too.
Yeah.
The article basically distills a very complicated strategic debate down into accessible potential outcomes.
Makes it easier to follow the possibilities.
Yeah, it helps you see how a single policy decision, just about specific weapons, could have these cascading effects across the battlefield and the wider geopolitical landscape. It's kind of about anticipating how different levers might be pulled and what the consequences could be intended and unintended, like a high-stakes chess match, really.
Yeah, where you're trying to think moves ahead.
Exactly. Not just your move, but theirs,
Right.
based on the pieces on the board.
Okay. So we've explored how a potential change in missile policy could sort of redefine Ukraine's defensive future, moving beyond the current restrictions. It's clearly a possibility with immense strategic weight, a potential game changer, as they say.
Which, raises an important question, I think.
Yeah.
If strategic deterrence is fundamentally about perception,
Professional capability. Yeah.
right, how one side's perceived strength stops the other from acting aggressively, then how might the mere discussion of policy changes like this, even before they're implemented, how might that alone start to alter the calculations of all the parties involved in the conflict right now?
That's definitely something profound to ponder as you continue to navigate the complexities of global events.